I'm going to show you how to graph a quadratic regression equation, and then I'm going to manipulate the graph and get some data off of it. So the first thing I did was go to Stat, Edit, and entered some information in L1, L2, and this is going to be in parabolic form. Now, L1 is the number of hours, L2 is the amount of oil that's leaking out of the tanker. And I want to graph that first. So the first thing I have to do is turn stat plot on, second y equals. And when I go into here, I'm going to turn it on. It's in scatter plot. L1 and L2, those are my lists, and that's going to be the same, the marking, which is fine. Now, I have to tell the windows the correct location for my x's and y's. Now there's an easy way to do this, and there's a not so easy way. The not so easy way is you go to Windows and you change the minimum and the maximum for your x's and y's. Now it's easy to see because you have it in your lists. X min would be from 0 to like 11, since we have 1 to 10 hours. Y min, Y max would go from 0 to the maximum, which is about 22, 23. The easy way to do it is to go to Zoom and come down here to Stat, and the calculator is actually going to enter in a good viewing area for you. Now, once that's done, you are going to create a regression equation. And so I'm going to go to Stat, Calculate, and I want quadratic regression. And if I just leave it like that, it's going to default to L1, L2. So this is the information that I want to input into my y equals. So then I can draw it and do things off of it. So how do I put that into my y equals now? I could write this down on a piece of paper and then copy it in, but there is a way to insert that, and the way to insert it is to go to y equals, and I want to put it in here. So start with that screen, then you go to vars, that's what you have to memorize, and it's in the statistics, equation, regression equation. So when I hit enter, it's going to input all of that into that equation. Now when you graph it, you're going to see a nice graph that goes through most of those points. It's a line of best fit or regression line. So now let's have a couple questions. First of all, the question may be, well, in let's say 7.5 hours, what is going to be the oil leakage? And so to do that, you can go to the second trace and go to value. And I want to put in 7.5 hours, and it's going to tell me that that rate is going to be 13, almost 1400 of liters per hour. The other type of question that can be asked is, well, given the amount of leakage, how much time has gone by? So in this case, let's go to our y equals and plug in a horizontal line and say, well, at 1000 liters per hour, what is the amount of time that's passed? Now when you graph this, you're going to see a horizontal line, and our question is, what is going to be that intersection? Again, second trace is going to help me with these commands, and this is going to be intersect. I want to know the intersection of these two. Now when you do this, you're going to follow these prompts. It says first curve, and you're going to hit enter. Notice it jumps down to the second curve. You're going to hit enter, and then if there are more than one intersection points, it's important to put it next to that intersection point, so it's telling the calculator which intersection you want it to calculate, and you're going to see at 8.55 hours, approximately 10 hundredths liters per hour are going to be leaking. So that's going to be a little bit of a lesson on using a graphic calculator and the regression quadratic